I knew that I was going to Gladewater to speak to the Gladewater Rotary Club at a lunchtime meeting. Just talk to them about what politicians talk about, just like about the court system and the judicial system and where we were at with the pandemic and things like that. So it was just a routine day for me. It was my birthday, so that morning I had fielded many texts and emails and even taken some phone calls. There was 2 people at the Bluebird Room, which is a meeting place there in Gladewater downtown. Carla Bird, who owns the Bluebird Room, was there, and then Leon Word. I was there setting up my equipment for my noon presentation to Rotary, and I collapsed in front of him, and he began doing CPR.
So I was getting ready for work, and Sheriff Maxey calls me, and he says, Tina, Tim has been in, he's had a medical emergency, and we're headed to Good Shepherd. And I said, a medical emergency, what do you mean? And he said, well, I said, is he alive? And he says, yes. So I jump in my car, and I'm just in a fog. I don't know what's going on. And I arrive to the hospital, and I see a lot of law enforcement, out in front of the emergency room. And so immediately, as I was just walking up, they just come to me, and said, we'll take you back to see Tim. And so as we're walking, towards the emergency room, they kind of fill me in that he had a heart attack.
We knew he was having a heart attack, and he was having a specific type of heart attack that it is behaving differently. So he was infarcting the backside of his heart, which was causing his blood pressure to be very, very low. And because his blood pressure was very low, we had to get his blood pressure up. He responded well. His blood pressure came up promptly. And then we were able to change out the tube and get a more permanent tube in place to breathe for him, because at that time he was not breathing on his own.
I really didn't realize just how serious it was until they said that they were having to put in 2 stents and all of this kind of stuff, that he had another blockage that was 50%. When they would just try to move him just to get an x-ray, then his vitals, it would just plummet, his blood pressure, everything. And so that's when I said, well, what do we do? And it was just kind of like a waiting game. They were wanting his heart to get some rest.
It was a little surreal. I mean, I had never had any kind of cardiac issues, and how can this happen? I was fairly healthy. I worked out 4 times a week. I thought I was doing everything right. And then all of a sudden this cardiac arrest comes out of nowhere.
He had woke up early that morning, and I got the call, and I just jumped out of bed. I was so excited and just threw on my clothes. And I was throwing stuff in the suitcase to get ready to go, because he had woken up, and it was a miracle. It was just a true miracle. I always get emotional, but just thank them so much, because they're more than just a hospital staff. They knew that I was hurting and that I was worried, and they were there right with me, giving me comfort, because you can tell that they all cared what was happening to my husband and what was happening to me. And I will never forget that. The best staff that there is, Good Shepherd.
Jokingly, I've told people there's nothing like a little cardiac arrest to get your priorities straight. And so it's been, I think any kind of experience where you can walk out of a hospital is positive. And so I know every day is a gift, and so I need to cherish that, I think, and be appreciative of those people who are in those roles and positions, and just the fact that everything worked like it's supposed to, I think is just a blessing to be here.